first of all, before we look at the final, can we get your reaction to the UEFA Cup draw?
Yeah, it's a fixture to look forward to. Obviously, if you play in Europe, you want to get drawn against a European team, but being at Manchester United and being in the derby, it's a big game. It's two big games, and we look forward to it, of course.
And looking ahead to the final, obviously I appreciate that you came the following year, but when this trophy was won back in 2012, it was hoped that it would be the start of a run of success. Why do you think if you to win it this year, that scenario might be different?
Well, I think with all the young players in the dressing room, we had the chance last year of playing two semi-finals in both the League Cup and FA Cup. Going to Wembley for the second time, obviously it's a final this year. I think with the young boys, if we would able to win it, then it would make them even more hungry for other trophies in the future. But in the same time, you can only think about that if you win the game on Sunday, and therefore we have to focus on that, no more than that, not looking to see what's going to be or going to come after that. It's more about making sure that we put in a performance on Sunday that can win us a game, and that's the only thing we're focusing and thinking about at the moment in time. We know it's Wembley, we know it's going to be a big day, especially the fans will enjoy the day out at Wembley, but we have to look and see it as a professional football match like we do every week, and last couple of weeks more than once a week.
Steven Gerrard says that Jurgen Klopp will be the difference and his aura will guide Liverpool to victory. So how do you guys view the influence of the manager?
Yeah, well, he's got the experience of playing finals, both domestically and in Europe, so he knows what it is to play a final and to be there. But in the end, it's down to the players who have to play the game and who have to do the job on the pitch.
Is there a mental advantage, psychological advantage after that 4-1 victory earlier this season?
I think every 90 minutes and every football match is totally different. Obviously, we've shown there that we can win against Manchester City, and we learned a lot of things in that, but I'm sure Manchester City did the same. Like I said, it's a final, first of all, but that's always something different. Secondly, every game is completely different, and therefore on Sunday we won't think about what happened in the previous game against Manchester City.
Personally, what would it mean to get that women's medal?
Yeah, like I said, ever since I arrived here, the first year we battled first for the Premier League till the last game of the season, and the second year we managed to play two semi-finals, so it's another step in the right direction, playing a final, and hopefully together with the rest of the team we would like to try and win that game. But like I said, we have to look into it professionally, don't get flustered by the occasion, and make sure we perform on the day, and then hopefully that will be enough to win the medal and win the trophy.
Obviously this season, after you left Sunderland, they got to this final as well against Manchester City. How did you feel that day watching on?
You can't control those things really, but like I said, as a football player you want to be remembered for trophies and winners' medals, so you always want to be part of that. But like I said, therefore you have to work hard, and every cup competition you start in, every stage you can go out. I said it before, we've now managed in the Capital One Cup to get to the final, but it doesn't change if you go out in the first round or you go out in the final for that sake. So you just have to see it and try to play and win the next game again.
How important is that actual medal? You know, when players retire and sometimes they'll say sort of put your medal on the table and that sort of thing. How important to you is that?
But that's something you can only look at after your career. That's not something you're busy with during your career. Whilst you're training and whilst you're playing games, you focus on the next game, you focus on your training sessions to try and keep improving things and progressing in the right direction. And then if you work hard, things will come out of itself really. So you have to just make sure that you keep focusing on the daily job. And like I said, that's keep improving, and every chance you've playing a game, you try to win that one.
In terms of Wembley, how much of an added hunger will there be for you and lots of the players that were involved last season when you played in the semi-final? It was Liverpool's poorest big game performance for decades, really. Is there an added purpose for you this time round to make sure you sort of put things right?
Yeah, it's the third time now I played at Wembley. I've played there once with the national team, and last year obviously um, with the lads for the FA Cup. So every time you go to Wembley, it's a huge occasion, and that's what I said before. You can't get flustered about the fact that it's at Wembley, that it's a final. You have to see it as playing a football match and playing 90 minutes and maybe even more. And hopefully that will be enough. You put in a performance that will be enough to win the game. The trophy will be decided on the day. That's something else, for example, the Premier League. So you have to know that you have to show up and have to perform at the best level. But therefore, you can't be carried away about the fact that it's Wembley, it's a final. You can win a medal afterwards during those 90 minutes or 120. You have to focus on your job, and hopefully that will give you the edge to make sure that we beat City.
And from a player's point of view, have you been able to get a handle on why some of the performances since the manager took over have been fantastic, some have been very ordinary, and some have been really poor? Have you been able to get an understanding of why that's happened?
Like I said, in football, 2 games, the most important is the one that you just played and the one that you're going to play. The last one you played is the one that people remember, and then you have to look forward to the next game. So there's been a lot talked about throughout the season, but like I said, yesterday I said it was the most important game of the season. If you want to get through, you get through. Now this game is going to be the most important game of the season again, and that's how it's going to be always in football. Is the next game where you have to look forward to. That's what we'll try and do. Yesterday we were focused on the job against Oxford, whilst everybody outside of the world was already speaking about the final at the weekend. So like I said, we just have to keep professional and look at the next game, and that happens to be the Capital One Cup final against Manchester City now, and we're focused and preparing ourselves on that.
How big a disappointment was that FA Cup semi-final defeat? Does it still frustrate?
Well, yeah, like I said, every competition you go out of and you lose a game, it's a disappointing feeling, like it was against Aston Villa last year. But it doesn't make any difference. We, for example, got out of the FA Cup against West Ham in the final stage of the game, and going out in the semi-final, going out in an earlier round, therefore is always disappointing. It doesn't make any difference where you go out in a cup competition. You want to go to the final, obviously you want to win that final. Going out in the first round or in the final for that sake doesn't matter, or doesn't make any difference.
So as far as you're concerned, that is in the past, and there's no making up for a missed opportunity this time around?
No, you have to look at every game, and every total 90 minutes is totally different. So the next game against Manchester City will not be the same than the game we've played against Aston Villa, and therefore we have to make sure that we focus on that game rather than to see what happened in the past at Wembley. Yeah.
Sorry, can you just take it back to the Europa League Cup? Did you watch it as players together?
I was in the gym when we were watching it. So there was everybody is doing their own job. It's obviously logical when some players have played last day. They were still on the pitch. Others were in the gym. Others were in the treatment room. Others were having their lunch. So it was all scattered over it. But I think everybody got the message that it was Manchester United.
Do you feel confident? You've lost to them twice this season. Do you feel confident?
Well, I think if you see all the teams that are still left in the Europa League, there aren't any easy games anymore. That's normal, you know, when you're in the last 16 of Europe, and that's why Europa League is such a good competition this year as well. When you see which teams are still featuring in it, it's a huge competition, and you want to go as far as you can. So therefore, I think out of every team that was in there, it would have been a tough game. Yeah, but they know us as good as we do know them, so that doesn't make any difference.
Fair to say, Simon, you haven't really played your best against United as a team since Van Gaal took over in 2004.
Yeah, but the last game we played at home, we probably were the better team for the full 90 minutes. Unfortunately, we didn't score, and then they scored their goal in the end. So every game is completely different, and it's now in a different competition. So over 2 legs as well, major difference. We have to stay calm, and like I said, we're thinking about Manchester City. It was nice to see the draw there, and to see and look and find out who we're going against. But at this moment in time, I don't think anybody is thinking about that as of yet.